Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up and coming around the Lego world. I'm your Minifigure host, Matt. Let's build on it. Welcome in, everybody. Episode 182 today. We get to share this new, cool, awesome thing with you. I'm so excited to talk about it. Today, the Adidas Original Superstar Brick Built Shoe. Yes. Finally, we have that opportunity. Finally get to share it with you. I'm so excited. 10282 is the set number. You probably already know most of the details from the breaking news segment from the day prior, so you have an idea already what we're walking into. But you don't. You really don't. Until we get in here and we really bust this puppy apart. And I'm not literally going to break it apart. I would probably cry. It took some time to put this thing together. Anyway, it's an $80 set, €80 set. 731 pieces available July 1st from Lego retail stores, Lego.com, Adidas.com. You're going to be able to get it, and select Adidas stores. You're going to be able to get it as well. So the first thing that you notice, and I told you, I had mentioned this to you guys, this thing is an actual shoe box. It is not just a standard Lego box. And it's really neat because it has a flip-up lid just like a shoe box. It looks like an Adidas shoe box. And on the one side, where there's usually a cutout for Adidas, whatever, I'm not really sure. I don't have a whole lot of shoe boxes laying around, but they have a minifig head as the cutout that is in the cardboard. And then where the information is, that is usually where on the side of the shoe, it has what it's called, 18 plus, the set number, the pieces, a picture of the shoe. It's really, really cool the way it's done. It's really, really cool. And then on the opposing side, it gives you a 1-to-1 scale of the Superstar printed piece that is used here, which is really nice. Really, really cool stuff. On the bottom of the box, it shows what the shoe looks like from the front, from the side, from the bottom. If you that's where you get your measurements and stuff like that. So you have all of that. It's just a really cool box. And then when you lift up the lid, it's just like a shoe box, but then you feel the 18 plus packaging come into play, because it has the 18 plus, it has all that, and it's real simple. All you do is you pop the tab up for this. After you have to cut the plastic, obviously, the little wrap in there to make sure it's never been tampered with. And then you lift it up, and there's an Adidas Brick Built logo with the holes on the bottom. You don't see studs, you see the holes on the bottom. It's really cool. I love the way that is done. And then all the bags are covered in tissue paper, a layer of tissue paper. Not anything super special, just tissue paper. So then you have your bags, you have your instructions, and then you go through the build. There are 7 bags, by the way. So let's talk about the shoe as a whole. What does the shoe have? What can you do with the shoe? Well, you build the shoe. I already told you, you're not going to be able to put your feet in there. You're not going to be able to shove your foot in there, because it's going to hurt. It's definitely going to hurt. As I had mentioned in the new segment, this thing has an official shoelace, an official Lego shoelace. It is now an official part in the part catalog from Lego. That's just, it's just a shoelace, a white shoelace, but it's really kind of neat to have that, just the idea behind it. As I mentioned, there are so many printed pieces on here. There's just so many, and the building of this thing really turned out well. So the way this thing works is you start building, the sole, obviously, and you're thinking, okay, but how do you get a curvature on the toe, on the sides, around the back? The back is pretty easy, and the sole in general is fairly easy. Florian Mueller and his design team really did a great job of getting the sole layer of the shoe to really look like it should. They really, really did. And on the front, you just have giant chunk, curved, rounded pieces that are up here, those giant pieces. And they have the golden printing on it that would usually be on the tip of the Adidas shoe, right? It just has the gold lines that are on here. So there's no stickers for that, which is good. And there wouldn't have been stickers because of the type of piece that it was. The tongue is one separate piece. And then the sides are separate units themselves, just like the heel is its separate piece and the way that it connects in. Everything is real simple to build for the most part. There's some really cool techniques on such as how they managed to accomplish getting the angle of the sides. Like I said, it is angled. You kind of have to get that shaping or else it just doesn't work. And what they did is they took the smaller ball joints and they connect. So you have the receiving end, if you're going to call it anything, the female end of the ball joint, the socket joint that is on the base of the shoe, on the sole of the shoe. And then the other part of the joint is the ball joint, and the ball joint connects to the side. And then when you go to put this thing on each side, on the left side or the right side, they are connected in there. Now there is some play in these. You can move these, around a little bit because they are, they're ball joints. So there is some play there. They're not necessarily locked into place. It does allow you to be able to do that. And Florian did mention to me during Fan Media Days where he had said that, the tongue is actually movable. So like the tongue can actually be lifted up and down. Obviously, if it's tied tight, it's not really able to do that. But he had mentioned that it's able to be done if the shoelace is not in. You can kind of maneuver that. Now the build of the tongue was real simple. Just a lot of round tiles that are going on here, curved tiles that are going in here to just be able to get that shape. And after you're done, you're set, you just kind of click it into the main assembly of the shoe. The if you want to call it the base structure of the shoe, you just click it in at the end and you're done. Now the tongue has the tongue tab at the top. This is printed. It's a version of a windshield piece, but it's obviously opaque. It's in that white, and it has that gold and black Adidas printing on it. It's not a sticker, so you don't have to be like, oh man, it sucks. It's a sticker. I wish it was a print. No. It is a full on print, which is really nice to have. Down on the inside of the shoe itself, is really kind of unique to me. I did not really expect this to be given any attention. Like most people aren't looking down on the inside of the shoe, but straight where your heel would go, there's a printed tile, a 2x6 printed tile that has the Adidas logo. There's one for the Adidas symbol. And then there's another one that is for the, the brand with the 3 stripes printing that is on there. And then it's in 3 different languages. I think it's German and maybe French and English, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Really cool. I really like that. It adds something different. You don't really feel like that's what should be going on with it or why they would have it, but it does. And then you get a chance to look down the barrel of the shoe, and you can see all of the different components that go into attaching this thing and making sure that this thing is in its proper location and so that it doesn't move, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that. And it is a really fantastic design. Like the Lego mathing that went behind this, the math of being able to get an angle and finding a part that you can use to be able to accomplish what you want really sells this. It really sells it as a fun build, as a different kind of build, because you're learning something new. You're learning how to use ball joints in a different way that you probably didn't expect to. So with that said, before I get any more along the sides of the shoe and stuff like that, on the very back, on the heel, on the outside, you have a printed logo for the Adidas as well. Again, with the Adidas lettering and the logo as well, which is real nice. I really like that. And then if you come around to the right side, I made a right-footed shoe, not a left-footed shoe. But on the right-footed shoe, on the right side, it has the Superstar logo printed on there on that nice little clipped-in round piece. Curved piece, not round piece. I keep saying round piece. Curved piece. Now, I will say, The building of the sides was probably my favorite part. The heel is okay. The heel is interesting, the way it kind of clips in and fits into place. But the sides are what is really wild, because you build upside down, you build right side up, you build with things of studs on the side, then you're layering things, and then you're adding curves to it. I mean, they really managed to do a lot with this that you probably don't really stop and think about it. Let's take a quick break and we'll come right back to it. What kind of stuff was really done to achieve this? This isn't like building a building. And yes, there's some techniques that go into that. If you think of one of the modulars, or you think the haunted house last year had some really crazy, bizarre mechanism stuff in there. You really have to have this to be able to sell this. So here's one of the things that I noticed. After it's all built, the sides, there is some gapping that is naturally going to be at the bottom, because you don't have anything to fit 100% flush so that it's not going to be able to be seen. If that is something that bothers you, it's definitely going to bother you in this set. I can promise you that. Now, they are able to be maneuvered enough so that you can get it to look as flush as you can without it being completely flush. And I mean, there's no way around it. What was interesting is how they use kind of those sloped vent type pieces that they usually use for vents on cars or stuff like that. They're really interesting design to be able to put that in there. And that is where the most fun comes from in this build. It comes from building the sides, because like I said, you're building upside down, backwards, inside out. I mean, just every different way that you're building, and then you're clicking these assemblies into place. And I've got a lot of pictures that I took that make sure you check on social media to be able to see how these things clip into place, how they pop into place. And it's really not that difficult. I mean, it's very non-complex as far as having it done. You're not designing this thing. Florian and his team already did it all. They did all of it. And that's just really what makes it so stinking stunning. It's just ridiculous. One of the things that I wanted to mention to make your life a little bit easier. So this shoelace, being a just standard traditional shoelace, is a little thick. And as you are lacing this thing up and you get towards the top where the laces go through that little loop to hold the tongue upright on a regular shoe, right? And obviously, it's not a huge deal on this one. But what I found is you already have this assembly built, it's clipped into place, and then you start lacing it. That little curved piece, and you're going to know what I'm talking about, where the laces go through underneath, there's just a little bit of a gap. And what I found, because it was too difficult to try and shove the end of the shoelace, the rounded, and then just kind of getting both of them in there, it was just kind of a pain in the butt. So I'll save you a little bit of time and effort. If you just pull that piece off, just that one piece, and then put your laces, run them the way you need them run, and then put that piece back on, it really saves you a lot of headache and frustration, and maybe not so much time, but it just speeds it up, and you don't really have to try and fight the shoelace to be able to get it in there. So just a tip to save yourself some aggravation, some frustration, or whatever. So on the bottom of this shoe, there is a 1x2 gap. And the 1x2 gap is used as a spot to put your stand. And there's a brick built stand that comes with this. Very simple design. And this is the only sticker on the set that comes with this. And what you have is you have a little plate here that you can put your Adidas sticker on of the model that comes with it. It's a sticker. It looks good, but it's a sticker. So you build this little piece to hold your shoe, and then you just simply stick your shoe on top of it, and it's done, and you can display your shoe. So it's a cool idea. It's something that sneakerheads are, I'm sure they're going to go gaga for, and it's a really cool display piece. Make sure you keep it out of the sun so the whites don't yellow, but it's a really cool display piece. It's a really neat idea that came along. And as I had mentioned, bag number 7, if you're somebody that says, you know what, I don't want to build the right shoe, I want to build the left shoe, the left version of the shoe, you can get the instructions online. I obviously cannot because they have not been released yet, but you can do that. The bag is for the other pieces, some of the slope plates and stuff like that, angled plates, so that they are going to fit on the correct side, right? Because there is a difference with some of the design, from right to left. So you can do that. So it's nice Lego gave you that. Now you can't build both shoes at the same time, obviously, but if you want to pay $160 and get two sets, you could build 2 different shoes. So that is always an option. It's always an idea. And I think they might, I don't know if they'll both fit in brick build or not with the tongue. The tongue might be kind of a pain if you were to have to fit them both in the same box. Yeah, it's you guys are going to be super impressed with this, and it's not something that you really stop and think about on a daily basis. Like, oh, Lego is building a shoe. Like I never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that had been the case. Now Lego's partnership with Adidas has been quite interesting, to say the least. I thought it's turned out really, really cool with some of the ideas that have come about and stuff like that. So I really appreciate what it brings me as a consumer. It's just kind of funny to see how some of this works. So build is fairly simple. Like I said, I really think I can see a lot of people taking to this as it being a hot commodity. There are going to be people out there that are going to say, yeah, it's not for me. And it depends what you want out of it. If you're a sneakerhead, you're going to want this. It's different, right? It's like the Lamborghini Cyan that we talked about. That is a unique Lego car. It's built out of plastic. If that were to be sold, it would sell because it's unique. This is unique. This is the only brick built shoe. Now, I'm sure there's some mock builders out there that may have done stuff like this in the past or may do stuff in the future, but that's different. This is an official product that has the Adidas logoing all over it, and the black and the white. I mean, you really appreciate what is here. I mean, I really do. I really like this shoe, and it's different. I can't stress enough that it's just different. Now, I've already seen some complaints when the news came out, super early on that, well, I don't know. Well, everybody thinks they're going to do shoes. Why does everybody want to do shoes? Why are these other toy companies going to do shoes? Well, it's a partnership, right? Lego and Adidas decided to hook up, and they made a shoe baby, and it turned out well. Plus you get a shoelace. I know. You're like, stop. It's just a shoelace, but it's really cool. So I hope you guys appreciate the build when you go through it. Again, this is going to be available July 1st. So you've got a few weeks to wait. There's no early VIP access, but I will tell you what, if this is something you want, you should probably jump on it as quickly as you can. Like as soon as it goes live on the server, that's what I would be doing. Or maybe you can call ahead and find out at an Adidas store. You're like, hey, do you have this or not? Maybe they do. Or, you can take your chances on Adidas's website. I don't know anything about their website. Maybe it's a little bit better. And I will say, I know the big sneakerheads are going to be out there and all over this, but I'm curious to know how big is the reception going to be from the Adidas side of things. Obviously, Lego, we have an idea of, or they have an idea of how large this is going to be, how big of a deal this is going to be. But from the Adidas side, is it going to trickle out enough into the sneaker community where people are waiting, to be able to get this outside of the 10% that are like super fanatical about this? Or is the average customer going to walk in, want a new pair of shoes, see this, be like, oh, that is cool, I'm going to buy this too? Is the average consumer going to be that person? I don't know, but I can see that being the case to a certain degree, because at the end of the day, it's different. It's just different. So if you're looking for something that is different, something that's displayable, something that I will say this thing is probably going to hold value down the road. This is probably going to be something that you'll be able to sell for a chunk of change in a few years, just because it's going to be something that somebody misses out on, like the greengrocer. Obviously, this is different. Somebody's going to miss out on it and somebody's going to want it. And, if you have it and you're like, hey, I'll sell mine. Sorry. Some people just won't do that. They're like, no, this thing is too precious. Me, mine's staying in my box and it's going up on my shelf along with all the other cool stuff that they have come out with recently. So that's it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned on social media. Make sure you check out some of the pictures of the final part of the build segments and how things are connected. Really, really interesting stuff. So until next time, I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's bet on it.